goddamn get it on, will ya? Woo. When the blow up now, everybody's so unusual with it. Shit. But said times in his rhymes, cause his memories, we running through the...
Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be removing something that you need to remove on your BMW engine. Now, as many of you guys know, this can lead to catastrophic engine failure on your BMW M57 engine. This also applies to a lot of other engines that use the swirl flap system. Now, we are going to be removing them on the M57 engine today because they need to go. It's something that needs to get out of this engine before they end up dropping into the engine itself. Now, I don't know if they've been done. Now, we don't know what size they are. I have got two packs with the 22mm and the 33mm. This is an 06 bearing in mind, but we just don't know what size they are, so we're better off to have both of them. Another thing is, this car is low mileage. As many of you guys know, it's only on 88,000, which is very, very low mileage for an 06 and especially a diesel. Therefore, I'm going to be taking them out because none of this work has actually been done. And while we're down there, we are going to go ahead and replace the glow plugs and the glow plug module, because on this year, the glow plug module sits underneath all the vacuum lines. Many of you guys know from the E60s. This is the M57N engine. Therefore, it does apply to all the E60 related cars as well. Okay guys, so as you'll see here, this is the M57 engine. Now, this is a lot harder to do on the X5s because you've got to remove this whole scuttle panel up here to be able to get access to the back bolts on the M57 engine. You're also going to have to be stretching. There's also connectors at the back of that manifold, as many of you guys would have seen. Or when I did the 535 diesel, which was an E60, was a lot easier to get access to everything than it is on the X5. So this is more of a challenge, but I'm going to be doing it because it has to be done. You guys would have seen in the previous video, we blanked off the EGR system itself. That's all done, running perfectly, no issues at all. We're now going to be taking off the manifold, doing all the glow plugs and doing everything else that we need to. As I always say, glow plugs are the key to a healthy running diesel engine, and I'm going to be replacing them. It's a common failure, they always fail. So we're going to get onto it and start unbolting all the manifold. And then what we're going to do is take off all the bolts for the dipstick, and at the back all the plugs. As many of you guys know, we've got the sensors at the back, pressure sensor, and we've also got the sensors down here, which we're going to be disconnecting all the vacuum lines underneath for the swirl flap system itself. Okay guys, so what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to release these 30mm bolts up here, because we're going to be taking off all the scuttle, so we're going to be releasing all the clips. So we're just going to unlock them all here, and all around here, and here, and then just lift it out as well. Once we got all the clips out, take it all out. Then we're going to get our 30mm spanner and just release all the 30mm bolts here to hold it with the scuttle to the chassis of the car itself. Now, you won't have to do this on any other car, it's only on the X5s. Bearing in mind, you just want to catch that 30mm bolt straight away. And you're going to need 19 to release the battery cable. And then you don't want to lose that connection. It's very important you keep that. Okay guys, so after you've released this 30mm bolt and you just want to take off these 10mm for the washer bottle, you just want to pull this forward after that, and it should come forward. You just want to take off that trim as well. Put that there, and then this should just slide forward like that, and like that, and you can just take that straight out like you see there. And after that's out, as you'll see, we've now got full access to the engine bay. So now what we're going to go ahead and do is take off these two bolts, get this last part of the cover off. So we're just going to use the impact gun here because obviously it's got the torch, so you just want to do that and that. And that's out, and be careful with the bolts. And just take it out like that. So after you've done that, now you've got full access to the manifold. Now, I'm going to be showing you where all the bolts are. So you've got all the top bolts up here that you need to do. You've also got bolts here, which I think they're 11 again. I can't be 100% sure. 11 or 12, one of the two here, but I know these are 100% 10mm. I think these are 11. There's nuts down here. You're going to need to use a magnet to grab these. And there's going to be one right over the far back here, underneath the plug, that you're going to have to put in. Now, the best thing to not to use is an impact gun to get these off. Now, I'll tell you why. Because as the impact gun spins them off too fast, it can end up chewing up the whole thread so the bolt doesn't go back on properly. So my best advice is to use a socket to get them off. Get them all off one by one. Take them out of a magnet, put them back on, tighten them back up with an impact gun, but slowly. If you've got an adjustable impact gun, because if you guys don't know the threads on these, where these 11mm washers go on, the threads are built onto the head itself, onto the cylinder head, so you've got to be careful there not to thread them, because otherwise you're completely screwed. So we're going to go ahead and get this off. It's not a hard job at all to get this off either. We're just going to undo all the nuts, take off all the plugs. We'll take this 10mm washer out here as well for the dipstick, and that'll drop that down, and then the manifold should come up very easily. So the first thing we're going to release is the 10mm nut, which holds the dipstick on. You want to be careful not to lose this either. That's the dipstick freed. Now, what you want to do next is unplug this connector back here. So you're just going to push on it and then unplug it. Goes back there. Once that's freed, the next thing you're going to want to do is start loosening all the bolts. So we're going to go ahead and loosen them all. The top ones I'm going to do with the impact gun. These ones we're going to do with a socket because we don't want to thread them. So we're going to get the impact gun and loosen them all. So what you're going to want to go ahead and do is just loosen them one by one. Make sure you get this engine cover clip, which goes on the third bolt right here, just before the last two back ones. With the engine cover, pop the engine cover back down. You just want to get them all out, which we now have. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the 11mm and just take these out. So we're just going to fully unloosen these just to make sure they're fully out. They can't come out the manifold, so don't worry about it. Another thing you want to be careful with is when you do this, you want to also be careful that you don't drop the gaskets into the intake system, because otherwise that could be dangerous. So now they're fully released. Now we're going to get the 11mm and unloosen them. Now you want to make sure you've got your magnet as well to get them, as soon as you get them off. Now they are 11mm. You remember that now. So as you see, that's one loosened. We'll leave that one loose, and we're just going to go for the other ones. And that one's loose. Now the one at the back is going to be a bit more difficult because you're going to have to feel and put your socket onto it. But you just want to be careful to leave that one till last to get out, because the next thing you're going to want to do is just turn these out slowly by hand once they're loosened. They might be stiff to come off at first. You don't want to loosen them too much that you won't catch the nut either. The first one. And that's the last 11mm nut that we got to go. Now, next thing we're going to want to do is release the EGR system. Take this pipe off. You want to attach while we take the manifold up. Then what you're going to do is you're going to put some effort in. Got to be careful. You want to lift this up. You're going to want to disconnect the electrical connector in there as well. And now that should be the manifold freed. Lift it up. And there is your manifold released. Now, if many of you don't know, the X5 doesn't have swirl flaps. So this is something that if you guys are planning on removing it, you will see here that the X5 doesn't have any swirl flaps. BMW removed them, so that was a good thing. So this car doesn't have them, so we don't have to worry about that. So we are going to go ahead and replace the glow plugs on this car and get them done. So as you'll see, guys, we've took the manifold off the car. We were going to blank the swirl flaps, and the X5, which nobody's meant to know that, it's just you have to check, doesn't have swirl flaps. So that's a very, very good thing. Massive enjoyment for me. I can now return the swirl flap blanks, and I can just put my manifold back on. Now, this is a common thing which I spoke about a lot, where the X5 E53s don't have them. This one doesn't have them, but as I said, we are down here and we are gonna do the glow plugs and the glow plug module while we're down here. So we're gonna take the manifold off anyway. So we are going to do the glow plugs. Stay tuned for the next video of doing the glow plugs and the glow plug module. I've got a special kit I'm going to be using to remove the glow plugs. I hope this is going to help you get your manifold off. This is the same way if you was to blank your swirl flaps, just you're going to have to remove the torques and get the swirl flaps out and put the blanks in. It's very, very simple. I've got another video up showing how to do that. I just thought I'd do this video showing how to get the manifold off because I needed to check. As you see there, remove all the gaskets, clean up the area, and we've got new gaskets, so we're going to go ahead and fit them to put the manifold back after once we've done the glow plugs. So join us on the next video where we're going to be removing the glow plugs, glow plug module, and putting the manifold back on, so you guys get to see that as well. So I hope this is going to help a lot of you guys with your M57 getting the manifold off. As you've seen, mine didn't have swirl flaps, but that does not mean your E60 is not going to have them either. Your E60s will have them. This is a known thing that the E53s don't have them. I was just checking because I was taking the manifold off anyway, so if they were there, they were being blanked. At the end of the day, we don't know what the year of production this was. If it was 2005 or built in 2005, it would have had the swirl flaps. Therefore, that's why I removed it, just to be on the safe side. It doesn't have them. That's a very, very good thing for me, because as you guys know, it's a catastrophic failure for the engine itself. They don't have them, so therefore we are going to leave it as it is, and on the next video you're going to be seeing me replace the glow plugs and the glow plug module. So I hope this is going to help you guys. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this is a much clearer video than what I put out last year. Thank you very much for watching. This BMW Dr. Dean here, and goodbye.